All right there, give me a couple of minutes to get a cup of tea on. Well, it's on, I've just got to, ta-da. Hello there. What's that? Sunday afternoon, a bit of story time. I've got a story for you. I'm going to tell you a story. I get a lot of people email me, and the funny ones are the people who don't know that I know they're drunk. And then after about 5 or 6 clearly drunk and obvious emails from an angry, bitter, resentful, drunk person, and it's apparent. The first one I can almost know immediately because they're drunk, and I just ignore them. I haven't got time to spend talking to drunk people unless I'm in a bar or something, and even then it's a bit of a struggle. And then at some point they feel the need to tell me, yeah, so what if I'm always pissed? Anyway, I'll wait for a few more people to turn up because I want to give, dare I say it, some trigger warnings. Not so much triggers in that you might get damaged or injured or something. How many drunk emails do I get, says Dennis? Well, I'm not talking a couple of beers in, because sometimes a couple of people will be like, sorry about the ramble, I've had a couple. And that, that's different. I'm talking about the ones that are sort of like, hey, fucking keep talking shit. You used to not be such a fucker. ... somewhere else on the page that you can't even do on a computer if you're sober because you need that weird drunk sept button press. And then just over here something like, have you ever heard of John Marchand? And what tends to characterize drunk emails is what I like to call 4 seasons in one day, which is where someone's like, been really enjoying your videos lately, but if you keep making shit videos like this, I'm going to unsubscribe. You're a top geezer, mate. Why don't you sort yourself out, you cunt? Okay, thanks, mate. That's the 4 seasons in one day kind of thing. How do I do this? What am I even doing? Oh, yeah, Twitchy. So I've got a story. Now, there's 150 people here, so Where's my boy Rags? I need to make a combination of an apology as well as a welcome and as well as a thank you. My boy Rags. We all met him the other week in the private chats, which then went public. Rags is a moderator in Twitch. Rags moderates Twitch, and I always thank Mosaic Labrador for the sterling job he does as, the armed protection that I've got in the main room. But Rags has a job that is difficult for its own reasons, and he sits there all stream, every stream, bless him. And he gets a couple of people turn up and say hello, and he welcomes them. So I will be from now on also thanking Rags for the old Twitch moderation. I think that would be cool. There's a few people saying they get similar emails like that from various people in their family. Yeah, I love the way they think you don't know is what blows my mind. And then when you don't respond, they end up telling you that. There's such all addiction, but I'd say especially with drinking, but only because more people drink, so it's more frequent. You witness it more. But people want you to know they're wearing that mask. Give me a 1 in the chat. Give me a 1 in the chat. If you know an adult who pretends to be more drunk than they are sometimes, their leery, mad kind of drunk behaviour is quite over the top, and also they need you to know that they've drunk. They need you to know. They'll tell you, "Yeah, I've been drinking." Because they want to wear that mask. They want that excuse. There you go. Look, adults. We're talking about adults here. Loads of people said 1. Oops. Isn't that a thing that a grown adult will pretend to be drunk? I'm not saying they're not drunk, but they tend not to be that drunk. Look at that. Someone said, "Look at that, Kieran. Friend of mine pretends to pass out." I mean, people want, and they want you to know as well. They want you to know because it gives them a mask. And once they've got that excuse for a mask, they can start doing other things. So when I get the drunk emails, because I don't engage, I'm not wasting my time on it. I'm just not wasting my time on someone who's giving me abuse. And then they'll tell me, and it's like all angry, like I give a fuck. It's bizarre. A real mess to your personality. All that stuff is a real mess. I think it's really done us danger. Anyway, lovely to see 180 people in here on the old Sunday night. Sunday Arvo for you people. I will put a bit of colour in my cheeks. This is a debut story. A lot of the stories I've told you, I've performed them. And the good thing about telling a story you've performed is not only do you know the intricacies and the ins and outs of it, but you also know the beats, and you also know you've got set pieces, so there's laughs in there. And I'm not. This hasn't got these. This is just a story, and I've called it, and I didn't think about it too much. Oops, my towel fell off. Oh, hello, Skin Scar. Hello, Gwillem. Gwillem, what's a scrub? Let me get the griff sorted out, and then we're on. But I just want to make a content warning. I'm actually making a content warning. This isn't a joke, because I don't want people complaining later. This is quite a grotty story. It involves me, and it involves me doing really unpleasant things that I'm not only proud of, but that I not only not proud of, Freudian slip, not only not proud of, but embarrassed about, regret, and aren't pleasant. So don't sit here and listen to an hour or 40-minute story and then say, I don't come here to listen to all that drug stuff. It's a drug story. It's about a couple of blokes trying to score. It's that nutshell. So, you've been warned. There's no pathos here. This isn't gonna end well. Put it like that. And like I say, this isn't a story that I've performed, which is going to give you quite an interesting view on things. Because like I say, most of the stories I've told on my channel, like the crack gnome story, I must have told 100 times on stage. It's a story that I know, and I know where the beats are and all that. I might forget details. I might remember details as I go on, but obviously I can remember it because it was a day in my life. It's going back about 16 years. It was right at the cusp of about 18 years. It was right at the cusp of my addiction. VAD. Okay. Right, people, whilst you're thoroughly enjoying this story, you can donate to the channel. You can use the super chat feature, which is the $ down in the bottom of the chat there. Alternatively, you can use entropy, which I've just put in the chat. If you need the entropy number later, let me know. If you think I've missed your super chat, you'll be surprised. I'm all eyes, but if I'm on a roll with the story, I'll probably deal with them all at the end. Actually, they do go into entropy, and I'll put them on the screen. So I will deal with all the super chats. If you've got any questions or anything, or just want to throw a few quid at the channel, which people usually do, and it's much appreciated. And it's why I'm happy to stream a couple of times a day. Probably be doing a bonus stream later as well. Because there was loads of other streams on the other night when I said I'd do it. I would have been competing with like 2 or 3 very interesting things to watch. Before we get onto the main story, before we get onto the what would you call it, the main event, there's a little. This is rather like a little matinee, I suppose. We've got the B movie to come first. I've got something to warm you up and get you into the spirit of things. So this will separate the men from the boys, so to speak, because if this isn't your cup of tea, well, this certainly isn't yours. It's mine. Nice one, Mr. Bullet. You give a penny for everyone watching. Much appreciated. There's a little warm up, get you in the mood. I've just got to put my mug on my cup the correct way, although it's nowhere near ready for consuming. I nearly got a slice of my own cake. It sounds like a saying, doesn't it? It's like the old Welsh Elvis and all that. I mean, just a minute ago, I nearly got a slice of my own cake. But I nearly did get a slice of my own cake to go in my cup of tea. I might in a bit. But there's a little warmer up. So just for anyone who's just turned up, this isn't going to be a pleasant story. This isn't going to be a heartwarming story. It's going to involve drug use. It's going to involve human body fluids. It's going to involve bad behavior, and I know that the majority of you are like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted. But I know there are a few people who don't like that sort of stuff. And if you can't enjoy that, this isn't for you. The little warm-up story, right? The other day, true as it goes, I couldn't sleep. And so I came out here. No, actually, I better not say what there isn't, because who knows, there may well be. I came in here the other morning, and I was sitting here as nude as the day I was born, which adds to this story, right? This isn't the main event, by the way, people. I was sitting here, and as a lot of you know, just there is a huge wall of windows. And there's a little platform there, because the steps that go to the room above where I used to live are right there. So right direct in my eye line is like a, 2-meter platform with stairs going up and stairs going down. So you understand that? And so I was sitting here about 6:30 in the morning. Sun had just came up, beautiful purple and red sky, And as I was sitting here, and I didn't have my computer on, I was sort of looking directly over there, just sort of thinking, Do I go back to bed? Shall I have a kip later? How long have I? You know, the usual stuff you consider when you haven't slept and all that. Deadbeat Chest just dropped a $5 on Entropy, and he said, Virgin Entropy, love to you all. If you are going to donate, Entropy is preferred because I lose half as much to tax to these fuckers, and you don't give a penny to YouTube, but I'm happy with either. And I'll show them at the end. I heard this sound go, right, a noise I'd never heard. And I sort of looked over there, and there was one cat, we'll call that one the Missus, right? That's the Missus. And there was another cat, and they were identical in every way, except for, as you'll see, one was male and one was female. And the one with who was standing up was the one that was going. And they can't see me because of the way the light was. I didn't have a light on. It's lighter outside, so I'm in the dark. And I just thought, this is interesting. I've never seen this kind of malarkey before. And then it started sort of doing this weird walk around her. And it was sort of going, and like, it was posturing, it was peacocking. And I didn't know that animals done this. I didn't know that cats done this. I didn't know anything about it. And I was thinking, this is interesting. And, mate, Mrs., I forgot to ring her. On the, hello, love. Hello? Hang on. Yeah, I'm in, I've just turned out that I'm in the doghouse here. Hello, chicken. I'm telling a story. Are you going to bed?
I beg you.
All right, I'll send you free.
Okay.
All right, love.
When?
About an hour.
1 hour.
Maybe. Bye.
Oh.
Ta-da! Oh, I so totally said I'd ring her about an hour ago. Okay, so they're sort of doing their little thing, you know. And I thought, here he goes. He's trying to lure the other one, and the missus kind of just sort of slightly rolled to the side, but still looking at it. And I thought, this is it. This is what they do. I am witnessing nature, and I'm witnessing a male cat woo a female cat, right? And then it had a shit. The male cat that for about 5 minutes, I've proper condensed it. The male cat that was being like he just went. I was going to tell you this story the other morning, but I thought it was inappropriate on a video that was called about America. The poo's still there. I wasn't dreaming this. The poo's still there. It went, right? Hideous. Not what I would have thought. Before that, I was quite impressed the way it was sort of pouring around, going. The lady cat stood up as if to respond to the change in, you know, the cat had offered what appeared to be one symbolic log too many. And I thought, you've lost her, mate. You should have thought about that before you decided to break your courting ritual to have a plop. And then the lady cat had a poo as well. The lady cat cleared herself out, and I was like, "Oh, go on, mate. Just sort yourselves out." It was someone told me that before they make porn films, they all have enemas and that, so that there's not like visual plop. And I think they were probably going on that angle. And then I watched one of the most horrific things I have ever seen in my life, and I've never seen it before. I've heard it. Now, I know that male cats have a multi-barbed penis. They have a multi-barbed penis, male cats. Mrs. Me in it says, I was in love with the fox from the storyteller from the other day. Yeah, the fox on the credits of the storyteller was awesome. I remember him. I didn't love him though. Thank you, Mrs. Me in it, for the donation. It then did the job. It did the job. And the lady cat was in absolute agony. It was screaming. It was scratching the floor. It was trying to escape, but couldn't, because the male member is literally covered in spikes pointing backwards. So once it's in, it will not come out until it's relaxed a little bit. And she was going. It was horrific. I didn't sit there looking at that at all, thinking, "Look at the beauty of nature." And what done me was in the space of about 5 minutes, it went from this little tapping on the thing, wow, like we are Siamese. If you don't, please, ding ding ding. It went from that, which is just incredible, to literally. So yeah, if you like cats, don't get a lady cat, because it's a terrible life for them. And just the face on it, just the face on the female cat, so it's very hard to tell what a cat's expression is, isn't it? When your cat comes home, do you ever sort of look at it and go, "Oh, are you angry?" No. Or you look at it and go, "Hey, what's cheered you up?" It's neutral, right? Nah. Not when the old spina bifida goes in it, isn't it? I could tell that this was the worst day of its life. So just a little warm up. Sarah says 2 cats, 1 pavement. It was really a really horrible thing, and didn't start my day at all well. And it really got me thinking as well. It got me thinking about, just the whole breeding thing and ways, the sort of cultural. Old mouse cat is over the moon. Yeah, it was rough justice for the, dare I say, pussy. Right. Okay, the main event. So listen, I've never told this story before. This isn't meant to be a barrel of laughs. I'm not telling you this because it's a laughing story. It's just a real long day. And what I want you to consider when I tell you this. What I want you to consider when I tell you this is that this sort of stuff goes on every day in the life of a junk. Yeah, but there's bullwhips and there's barbed penises and plopping. Nice one, Bullet. If you think about this story I'm telling you, then think about the crack gnome story. Then think about when junkies jump story. Remember that one, the jump? Then think about when junkies play 4D chess. This is all that happens. This is all that happens in that life. It's just an everyday struggle to find money, find some gear and use it. And sometimes that can be 2 or 3 times a day. What I'm going to tell you was kind of like my life for about 20 years on and off, and mainly on. Now, they weren't all as kind of particular as this one, like the car chase. That's the only car chase I ever had. But the basis of the story is the same. Drug addict needs to score, will go to ridiculous lengths, short of dying, to make that happen. And this is what happened. I'm so nervous. So I had to go and see my key worker. When you've got when you're trying to get into a rehab or something, or you've got a script, and I didn't have a script. I was trying to get into the rehab up there. I had to go and see them like once a week, just to have a conversation with them so that they could assess my readiness for the treatment, right? And I used to have to go up there, and I wasn't ready for the treatment. I was only really going up there so that my mother would get off my back because I was living at her house. And it was a weird tightrope walk of him not saying, you might as well, why are you wasting your time coming here? But at the same time, him not saying, yeah, you're ready. Because the day he says to me, yeah, you can go to rehab tomorrow, I'll be like, bollocks. So it was quite a weird thing anyway. But I had to get up there. It was about 6 o'clock in the evening, which was damn late, right? Now, this is important. I'd already been running around all day trying to find some money, and I had nothing. I was already starting my withdrawals. You know, they were coming on. And the thing with a withdrawal, it's sort of like you plummet, you're sort of going down slowly and slowly and slowly. But once it hits, it's like, you know, it's like it's on. And I remember thinking, you've got to go and see this bloke, because if you screw this up, you know, one of those weird deals with my mother, I'll keep you in food and you can stay here, but you've got to do that up there. So I was sitting there with him, and I could the odd shiver, and my stomach was sort of going, you know, I was sort of going, oh yeah, right, no, I like it. And when I walked out, just outside, there was all the usual crowd, because everyone's up there and no one can score because the town at the time was dry. You have dry periods where you can't get any. And I bumped into this geezer, and it's Jamie. It's the same geezer from the car chase. And I met him at the same place for the last story as well. And he went, you all right? And Jamie's an arsehole, right? He's not a nice bloke. I did feel sorry for him, but he's an arsehole. Like the rest of us in that game, it's all about him. He only thinks about himself. And he went, have you got any gear? I went, no. I went, there's nothing about. And I went, and I've got no money. So those two things are causing me problems. Now, why did we go up there? Oh, no. That's right. I said to him, no, there's nothing about. And I said, I got no money. Of course, you never commit to money. And he went, I'm feeling fucking dreadful. He went, I ain't had anything since yesterday. And he looked in trouble. You know, I was getting there, but he was really struggling. And he went, I got a mate up in Lewisham who can sort us out. I was like, sweet. All right, then I'll come with you. I said, I've got like a little bit of money. Now I have. And he went, all right, let's go. So we've sort of shuffled down to the train station. And as we're waiting for the train, now the train to Lewisham takes about half hour from Dartford. When we're waiting for the train, he's going, every sort of few minutes, he's going, ah! And I was like, you all right? He was like, nah. He goes, this ah! Like nothing's coming out, but he's just doing these dry retches. And I remember really weirdly, he went to me, I ain't making it up. I know, you're all right. I don't think you are. Weird that he thought, you know, he was yellow, he was shivering, his eyes were watering, he was going, oh! Every few minutes. I ain't making it up. I went, no, I don't. Yeah, all right. What? And so we've got on the train. Now, we've already bumped over the fence, so we're now withdrawing and we're covered in anti-climb paint, and it's everywhere. And all that paint's now all over the seats and everything. And we're sitting there and we're just sort of hanging around and not really talking about much. Usual shit. Is this geezer going to turn up and that? He's like, yeah, no, he's sound. And I was like, all right, how long will it take once we get there? Because literally in my head, right, we've been on the train for 3 minutes, 27 minutes to Lewisham, 3 minutes walk out to the side. Whereabouts will he be? Up by the petrol station. Yeah, right, that's another 2 minutes. That's 32 minutes. Call him, wait in 10 minutes, 42 minutes. It's now 7 o'clock, so 18 minutes to 8, minute to cook up. Okay, 7. I've got to wait, and I'm trying to work out exactly when I'm likely to get this gear in me because I am feeling awful, and I've got Jamie in front of me going, oh! He takes his shoes off, he takes his socks off, and he opens the window, and that's already like it's freezing, middle of winter, and it's like he hangs his socks out the window and sort of clamps them in the window, so he's kind of airing his socks. He's airing his socks in the window, right? I don't even bother commenting because I'm just not interested. And I can hear this geezer's stomach. He's a poor bloke, you know. He's just water coming out of everywhere, you know. And he's all sort of like this and asking me really absurd, just out of the blue, sort of go, "Have you ever flown a kite in Margate?" Like, and I was like, "Eh." And his stomach was going, and I was thinking, "Ooh," and he was going, "Ah!" And there was only like 2 or 3 other people on the train, but they were all up the other end. Weirdly enough, they didn't want to sit by the 2 blokes that stunk, had their socks hanging out the window. One of them was going, "Ah!" And his stomach was going. And I was thinking, oh, God, man. And then I heard I just outright just had to say, I said, "Have you just shit yourself?" He went, "No." And then I could smell real poo. I could smell real poo. And I went, "You've just done a whole poo in your pants." I said, "I heard your stomach preparing." I said, "I saw you shuffle a little bit. And now, as far as by the sounds of it, you've got about that much solid poo in your pants." He went, "No, I fucking haven't." And I was like, "Well, you have. I would put money on it that you've shit yourself." He went, "I haven't. Just shut up, all right?" I was like, "All right." So I've sort of moved to sit opposite him. And I'm just thinking, but when I sat down, I can see the train guards. And usually as junkies, every platform, you look out for the train guards. But because we got a little bit argumentative about and me accusing him of potentially flapping his pants, we missed them get on. And as I sort of sat away from him, turned around, I could see these 2 blokes coming and walking up the train. I went, the train guards are on here. And I'm thinking, right, how far are we out of the next platform? And the train was slowing down. And we actually had to get to Denmark Hill, but we were going to get off at Lewisham. And I think we were coming up to Kidbrooke. And I said, "We're going to have to get out here. We're going to have to get out here." And he stood up and he can't open the window. His socks are just there. I'm just going, "Put your shoes on. Fuck your socks. Put your shoes on." And he went, I'm just, fuck it. Now we're running because the train hasn't stopped. The train hasn't stopped, and we need it to stop for the doors to open. So now we're sprinting with these big sort of roly-poly train guards. They know the score. Why would we be running through the train? But it is slowing down, so it's just a question of it stopping, them opening, us getting out over a fence. But Jamie's got no shoes on. He didn't have time to put his fucking trainers on. So he's running in bare feet. I can hear him behind me going, "Ah!" Got out at Kidbrooke. They got out of the next doors and we've flown over the fence. Got over the fence. They're never going to race over the fence. We've got like about 30, 40 meters away from the train station. Now, it's hard to explain to you unless you know, like I know half of you do. When you're withdrawing, energy is very scarce. It's a very rare resource. There's not a lot of it about. To have pulled that off, to have found the energy to run, because I've had times in my life where the old Bill or store detectives or whatever have rumbled me, and I've been so sick, I've just sort of flopped on the floor in front of them and gone, fuck it, do what you have to do. You know, because we were right on the sort of cusp of that, but we managed to do all that because there was gear, because there was a chance of getting something. And we got down, and I said, "Look, we're going to have to walk. We're going to have to walk from Kidbrooke to Denmark Hill because you can't bunk buses. You can't get past the bus driver. And there's no way of bunking back on at Kidbrooke." So we start this walk, right? It takes about An hour. It's just, we just both keep stopping him every few. He's got no shoes on. He's got no shoes on. At one point, he found a box of Kentucky Fried Chicken. You know, the little square box. It wasn't Kentucky Fried. It was something like Chingo Chicken or some old shit. And he put it on one foot. So he was holding tight and he was walking along one bare foot, one chicken box. But the chicken box, the floor of it, like the underside, the shoe, shall we say, was that wore through in about 5 meters. But because it would have taken too much energy to lean down and undo it, someone asked when it happened. This was about 18 years ago. Because it would have taken too much energy to take it off his foot, he just carried on walking, one bare foot, and a box that had now become like a big cardboard ankle bracelet. It's ridiculous. And so we're doing this massive walk. And so same old questions. Oh, this geezer, though, he's all right. Is he? The gear's all right, is it? And he's going, ah! Yeah, no dramas. Snot about that long hanging out his nose. And as he's walking, it's just sort of like just swinging like a horse's tail. And I'm now right in it, by the way. I'm not all that, but I am so cold. I am so cold. My back is in agony. And what you won't know, the mental anguish of this situation, it's just hell. It's just and the thing is, I'd already been doing this for 10 years. 10 years of this. Anyone who's got any care for themselves would put up with this for about an hour. And this was like my 11th year of this endless desperation and just stupidity and failure. You know, I like to think I'm above average intelligence, but that doesn't look like that. That certainly didn't make me feel like that. It made me feel like I was at the bottom of all social strata. And because I was. And so we're shuffling along. We're trying to get there. Why don't you call him now? Why don't you call him now? No mobiles, by the way, in these days. It's all fucking phone boxes. And that means borrowing money because we've only got our 20 quid each. And if you go into a shop and like buy a bottle of water, you won't have enough to get 2 bags then. They won't let you off a few pence. So you have to, hello, mate, you got can you let me 10p? I've got to try and get to work in the morning. So it took us about 20 minutes to ponce up 10 pence to make a phone call. Every junkie in the chat will understand this one. Zzz, zzz, zzz. Actually, it was probably push button in those days. Gets through, 10p in, boop. Straight through the answer phone. 10p gone. 20 minutes it took us to beg up 10p gone. Answer phone. Another 20 minutes. Hello, love. I've just been on my way home from work. And someone stole my briefcase. If you got 10p or 1p will do. If you, And then my mate behind me going, ah! So it's hard graft, pouncing it up. Don't forget he's got no shoes on. Get another 10p. Chum. Beep. Fucking hell. This went on for about an hour. I got, in fairness, some fucker at some point give us like a quid or something. So we had a few calls. Finally get through to the bloke. My mate's like, hello, yeah, all right. Hello, mate. Yeah, you got 4B, yeah? I just want 4B. And the bloke's going, I obviously don't know what the bloke's going, but he obviously said something, where are you? And he was going, I don't know. Where are we? I was going, I don't know. And he went, hang on. Hung the phone up. That's that old pound. Gone through. Mother of God. Give that geezer another call. I ain't got nothing left. What? I just called you. He said this. Just called you a couple of seconds ago. Hung up. We've hassled him too much now. And believe me, drug dealers have they call it powder power in the game. They like to know that you're in trouble. They like to know they've got power over you. And there is often a race issue there as well. I'd be lying if I didn't say that. Nah, he ain't coming. He just went fuck off. So that number's out. So we've just bunked the train, walked for an hour, all that waiting. It's now about 10:30 at night. And the problem is dealers start turning their phones off. I just crying. I'm crying. I'm standing in the street weeping. Really, just shocking. And he's just going, oh, what are we going to do? And I was like, well, this is bullshit. He went, hang on. He went, I got an idea. He went, let's get some money. Ponced up another 20 odd p for the phone. And I said, just take me through the plan. He said, I'm going to ring a mate of mine. He said, he's not a junkie, but he does like the occasional bit. Tell him that we can get him some, because anyway, basically he had a mate who wasn't like a junkie, but would have a bit now and again. And he had a motor. And this bloke had someone else he knew he could score off the other side. What's the place? What's it called? The other side of Denmark Hill. Camberwell. In Camberwell. So he's going to get him to drive down here because he's got a motor. We'll get in his car, go back to Camberwell, ring this geezer he knows in Camberwell and score off him. Gets through to him. Hello, mate. Yeah. I'm going to be picking up some really good stuff if you want any. Yeah, no, I'm in the other side of Denmark. Yeah, down by the station. Yeah, nice one. See you in about 20. Try and hurry up. So apparently it's on. Apparently, if we can trust this bloke that, interestingly, isn't a junkie. That doesn't actually, in this situation, instill me with faith, because he hasn't got the desperation. I know that he hasn't got the desperation. I reckon he might have just put the phone down and gone, nah, just some junkie puking into the phone trying to rob me or something. So we're waiting around. It's now like 11:15 just in the street. Smell of shit everywhere. All my crappy clothes are now double crappy because they're covered in this anti-vandal paint and stuff. I'm living at my mother's at the time. At some point, I've got to get home. I haven't even got any money to get home or anything. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm still sick, and now I'm really sick. Now I'm about 20 hours without. Like the chariot of God. Literally like the chariot of God in this dark little road somewhere between Kidbrooke and Denmark Hill. To this day, I wouldn't know where it was. He went, there he is. And this car went, and I just thought, warm car, sit down, driving. It's like being adults. This is like being normal. This is incredible. So the car pulls up, it's him, mate jumps in the front, I jump in the back, and the bloke goes, all right, Jamie. He went, who's this? And Jamie was about to tell him, and this geezer went, he went, have you shit yourself? And I was like, yeah. I went, yeah, he has. I went, he has. I heard it. And we all done our introductions and all that. And he told him where to go in Camberwell, just the other side, where in between Camberwell and Peckham. So we drive off, and it's really quite bad. I'm not retching, but I'm thinking I'm going to puke. I'm thinking I'm going to puke here. So first thing I notice is Jamie knocks him. Jamie's still trying to make a bit of free money here. He went to the bloke. He went, yeah, they're £20 bags. So how many do you want? Then they're a tenner. And he's basically just going to give the geezer half what he's paid for. You could tell the driver, I can't even remember what his name was. I think it was Chris, actually. You could tell the driver knew that this smelly, shit-panted, retching scum Jamie, you could tell he knew that he was robbing him. You could tell. When he went, yeah, they're £20, like they never are. Sometimes, but rarely. And he was like, just get one then. And Jamie was like, nah, you need to buy two. That's why we called you. Because you got to make it up. And he was like, well, how many are you lot buying? And I was just like, I only had 20 quid, and I nearly said two. Anyway, all this bullshit. I'm thinking, don't rob him. Why are you robbing him? Let's just get the fucking gear with your mad plans. Anyway, so I now know that Jamie's got 60 quid. Another phone box. Luckily, the geezer's got some coins, so no more poncing up. Phone box, comes back in the car. He went, he's coming down now. He said it'd be about 5 minutes. Now, if you've ever been in this game, 5 minutes can be anything between an hour and a day. Right? It's just shocking. And it's not like you've got a mobile, so you can at least make sure they're still coming or what every 20 minutes. You just have to put up with it. He rung him from the box a couple of times. I think it took about 40 minutes in the end. Car pulls up in front of us down this quiet little road. Jamie gets out, runs into the car in front, runs back to ours. Car in front pulls off, and we all spin off. And we go to, I think it was like home base, something like home base, and you know, like a DIY place. And we pull into the car park. You know, it's like nearly midnight, and there's no other fucker in there. He's dropped his lights once we've gone down the sort of, you know, I don't know what you'd call it, slip road into the car park, and we're just in there. And now it's, everyone's got their spoon out, except for the main bloke. He's got a bit of foil, the driver, because he's not on the spikes. So bit of this, roll a bit of tube, spoon out, put it in, bit of citric, and we've got all this shit on us because you always do. And just about, so you got a lighter. Wait, anyone got a lighter? Well, I'm using it. Hang on a minute. Old Bill, just the police, just come out. Just pulled up on us, screeched up. They didn't even have their lights on. They just... Now, you've got two options here. You can drink your hot citrus and heroin spoonful, or just throw it on the floor. Like, everyone just threw it. Just throw it. You've only been waiting for it for 9 hours. Just throw it on the fucking floor, you bastards. Because the difference is, if they catch you with the gear, they're going to take you off. They're going to take you off. They're going to chuck you in a cell for the whole night. You're going to have to make a court appearance for a 10 bag. And there's no point. You know, what's the point? You're still not going to get it in you. They're not going to give it back to you afterwards. So you just have to throw it. Yeah, torches, doors open. Pulled me out, dragged me along on the floor. He thought I was SWAT. He thought, you know, they thought because I was in the back, I was serving them. Because usually the dealer will jump in the back of a junkie's car and he'll do the deal from the back seat and then fuck off. So, and what you do, if you're dealing and the gabbers turn up, you just swallow it all because they can't find it. But I'm not. But he's just awful. No, I haven't got anything. They've looked in the car and there's needles on the floor and spoons and, you know, but there's no gear because we've thrown it. It was water and it was mixed and it's gone. And the cop was like, you dirty bastards. He went, people like you spreading AIDS everywhere. I don't know, don't necessarily know about that, but, you know, crack on, you know. You obviously got something to say to us. Loads of bullshit from them. And I'm just still thinking, I still haven't scored. And now I've got no money. Now I'm about 10 miles from home. I've got no money. There's no trains now. The last train's gone, midnight. That's finished. There's no night buses down there. I'm skint. I'm freezing cold. I'm rattling my bollocks off. And the weird thing was, the day before, I bought myself a 16th. I bought myself 1.75 grams, which for me at the time was about 8 hits. I bought one the day before. Yeah, lost it. I fucking lost it. I went and bought it, spent money that had taken me a week to nick and rob and beg and borrow. Finally found a dealer that would sell me a weight because usually they just let you have bags. No, I'm not going to sell you a big bit because I don't make as much money. Fuck off, junkie. Here, I have your little 10 bag. But I'd bought a 16th. But when I got home, my mum was sitting on the sofa and I was like, hello, I just got to go upstairs. She knew I was using, but it's just fucking horrible. Got upstairs, got my spike out, got my spoon out. Where's that fucking gear? Where did I... literally cried. Grown adult male, crying my eyes out. My mum come in. Awful. So that had happened the day before. That had gone. So I was now, the next day, 10 hours absolute madness. And now we've thrown all this gear in the car, just like madness. Just awful. So That's the end of it. This geezer goes. This geezer drives off. He's had enough. He went, that was all a bit on top for me. I'm going to just go home. Like I said, I think his name was Chris. He's gone. He just fucked off, left us there. I mean, he just go, I'm leaving you, but we didn't want to go because. And then I was going, what are we going to do? What are you going to do? And he was like, and he went, should we rob a house? Should we rob a house? He said. Now, if you've ever done any domestic robberies, the trick with a domestic robbery is know where you're robbing, right? Know the house you're robbing. Be aware that they're not in. Be aware that they've got products that you can shift quickly. You know, plan it a little bit. Plan it all. Don't just be desperate, withdrawing, rattling your tits off, shitting your pants, larking every couple of seconds, and then just... should we rob a house? So of course I went, yeah, let's just get on with it. And he went, I know a place. He said, I know a place, because this was his manor. But he wasn't from Dartford. That's why we ended up in this area. He went, I know a place, because I obviously said to him, it would make more sense if you had your eyes on someone. He said, I know a place. He said, I know a place. They never lock their door. They never lock the back door. And he said, and it's opposite, like this little wooded area. He said, it's only a little small bit. But he said you can get to the back door without going through a garden or any of that nonsense. And in fairness, I thought really he was just going to go and try a load of doors, because that's another desperate robber's junkie move. Just try doors, car doors, house, back doors, you know, because if someone's left them open, in and out. And make me feel like a piece of shit, this one. That's why I'm dragging that like nobody's business. So we've got up to this bit. It took us about another 40 minutes. I am in real trouble now. I haven't got any energy left. I've got no strength left. I'm thinking I'll probably end up keeping the night in a phone box or something, so I can bunk the train back in the morning. We've still got to get some money and score. This isn't... we're nowhere... I am nowhere nearer scoring than I was 6-7 hours previously standing outside the fucking treatment centre. And we've got there, and I'm in this little wooded bit with him, and the smell of shit, and him. And I said, "What one is it?" And he went, "It's that one." I went, "Well, how do you know they ain't in?" He went, "Well, they might be." He went, "But there's no lights on." And in fairness, there was no lights on in any of these houses. He said, let's just get in, grab something, like, you know, I don't know, anything, and just see if we can swap it for a 10 bag. He went, a 10 bag's going to be better than anything, innit? And I was like, yeah, it is. So I went, you go and make sure the door's open. If it is, I'll follow you. So I'm in this little wooded area. It's horrible. And he's walked about the 10 meters to the door, and it's like one of those UPVC 2 windows jobs, but it's the back door. And he's gone, and it's open. So I've scampered across, and we've got in, and we've just sort of left the back door, you know, didn't bother making a noise and shutting it, just sort of closed it. But it is pitch black. It's absolute. You can't see anything, and we're just sort of like boom, donk, bang, bumping into things, and donk, bonk. And I was like, this is no good. And he's gone, and upstairs I heard floorboards moving, and he's going. He said they're just turning over. And my adrenaline's going, and couldn't see shit. And I said to him, "Let's go in the front room. So it's hard to explain. So the back door's here. We've gone into the back room. The door's there. We can tell that because it's slightly open, and there's light. You can see light. So there must be some kind of street light. So the idea is that will be lighting up the front room. So we've gone round there. The stairs behind you as you go round. Gone into the front room, and exactly that. The street light out the front is somewhat lighting up the room, not like a torch or anything, but certainly more than the nothing in the back room. So we're going through things like a pair of absolute cunts. And I find this sort of, I don't know, like vase or something. It was like a ceramic sort of, I don't know, it's sort of like a ceramic thing with a lid. And I've opened it up and there was 180 quid in there in 20s. And I've gone, look. When there's about 200 quid there. And he went, no! He went, don't nick that. And as soon as he said that, I felt like as much as this was wrong, it had just become worse. It's really hard feeling to explain. He went, don't nick that. I was like, what do you mean, don't fucking nick that? He went, don't nick that. And then, coming down the stairs. Just coming down the stairs. And I just gone, and he's gone, and we can hear, hello? Hello? Click, light goes on. He's behind me, standing behind me. I didn't even know how he got there. This old woman of about 70 years old. She went, who are you? And in fairness to her, no fear. She went, who are you? And I went, right, excuse me, right, people, I apologise. She went, who are you? And I went, Chris? Chris? And then he's sort of stuck his head round. He went, hello, Nan. And I was like, and then he went, I'm looking for some tissue paper, Nan. He went, I shit myself on the train. And I was just going, and I just said to him, I'm going. He went, don't take that money. I went, what money? And I just sort of gone, ding, ding, ding. He went, don't take that money. And then I just thought, oh, fuck off. I went, here. And I give it to him. And he went, what? Where'd you get that money from? Where'd you get that money from? He went, it's nothing. He went, it's nothing. He went, sorry, Nan. And we've just fucked off. And we're walking down the road and I am proper angry with him. I went, you got some money? Tell me you've got some money. And he went, I got a bit. I said, good, because I kept 40 quid as well. Fuck you robbing your Nan's house, you lying bastard. And I went, and I said, who are you, Chris? You want my passport? So we've now got, I've got 40 quid, he's got 40 quid. And I went, right, what's happening? He went, there's one more geezer I can ring. He went, his name's R. He went, it's 24 hours. He went, it's small gear. He went, it's small little bags. He went, but we can get 4 each. I went, fucking brilliant. I went, what's the score then? He went, we just need to get up to the phone box. What's it called? Wickham Road, top of Lewisham Way, another 30-minute walk. I was that close to shitting myself at this stage. And I'm just thinking, we're nearly there. We've finally nearly got there. And everyone who's saying this is heavy, this shit is this is daily. This is daily in that world. It's madness. And it's not because things go wrong. It's because people make things go wrong because the drugs aren't hard enough. You need the drama because you're running from yourself. And you need all this madness. It's part of it. When I was getting a prescription, I was getting a injectable morphine prescription from the Stapleford Centre in Belgravia. I had no reason to go out doing all this shit, but I used to sell my amps to buy gear on the street because I didn't want to sit at home all day. I needed more distractions. Anyway, we found this phone box. He's gone in there, money in. Oh, yeah. And I'm in there with him. He went, have you got 8 dark, mate? You got 8 dark? Yeah. How long? Yeah. Phone down. He went, 10 minutes. The longest 10 minutes of my life. Think about it. It's now nearly 1 o'clock in the morning. I still don't know where I'm sleeping. I don't know, I've got my works on me though. I've got some spikes, I've got a spoon, citric, filter, lovely. I'll find a bottle of water somewhere. I'll just use spit if I have to. This Beamer pulls up. Finally, this Beamer pulls up and I've been saying to him, what motor is it? It's a Beamer, what colour? Blah, 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 blah. Finally he pulls up. I put my hand up. Jamie gives me a high five. And we've both got the biggest grin on our faces. And I go, fucking wicked. I went, imagine it finally coming off. Jamie opened the back door, got in, closed the back door. And I've never seen him since. Fucker. I stood there in the 3 degrees, February, middle of winter, 1 o'clock in the morning for about an hour. On the off chance, just even that he might have felt sorry for me and just come back with one bag or maybe even his filter, knowing how sick I was, knowing the absolute bullshit I'd been through for the last 6 hours with him and his shitty pants and his puking and his socks and his fucking nan's house. Nah, an hour I waited there, crying. I took a shit in someone's front garden because now I am now at the acute phase of the withdrawal. You know, my bottom is on and then I thought, well, that's it. That's all my options now, unless I mug someone. But this is the thing about heroin. If you haven't got any, it's like chess. You know, when you play chess and you press the button, you've got a limited amount of time. Because it involves crime, which is usually going to involve being able to fight, being able to run, being able to steal, usually all three, you're getting weaker and weaker. Your ability to actually commit enough crime to get the money is getting less and less. And I was past that now. I could bet I was shuffling. So I started my fucking shuffle home. On top of that, there's no one I can score off. Who am I going to score off? I've got no phone. No one's working who I know. No one's selling gear that I know at 2 a.m. And it took me 3 hours, about 3.5 hours to walk home. And everything was going through my head. A couple of times I just fell over. A couple of times I just collapsed, lay on the floor, just in a fetal position, thinking a millionaire's going to come over and just say, son, my child, what is it that ails you? And I'll go, I need a 10 bag, like pronto. And he's going to go, for I am the bearer of heroin. Just having these mad hallucinations and then getting up again. And I was walking down the A2, down the side of the motorway. All the fumes are in me. Absolutely hideous. Get to my mother's road. And I'm just thinking, I didn't like my mother seeing me withdrawing because it was like the truth, you know. When I was using, you know, I used to put on when I was actually on it, I used to put on quite a good show of things. I'd eat, I'd wash, I'd have a semblance of a social life. But when she caught me like that and all the puking and crying, I didn't want her to see her adult male son in that. And I remember as I got nearer and nearer to her house and knowing that she'd be up at 7 a.m, which was only like a couple of hours. And I was just thinking, and she hasn't seen me. Last time she saw me, I said, I'm just going to the clinic. I'll be back in about half hour. So she's probably have been on the phone to the old Bill. She's probably rung all my friends. And it's heartbreaking. And I put my key in the door. And I thought, I'm not going to wake her up. And I've just gone in there and I've closed the door. And I've grabbed, I think it was a can of Fanta or something that was on the side. And I shuffled upstairs to my room. And I've opened my room. I sat down on my bed. And there was a note there. It was like an envelope. And it had my mother's writing on it. And it said, don't leave this sort of stuff laying around in my house. And it was my 16th. It was my 1.75 grams I lost the previous day. And I tell you what, the heroin father had returned. And I got that spoon out and I pushed that works together, Fucking hell, man. I remember as I was cooking, I was going, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Mum, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It was quite the day. But the point I want you to understand is, although they don't tend to be that dramatic, that's that life. I mean, what do you think happened the next day? What do you think happened the day before that? That's quite something. It's quite something. What a life. What an absolute life, eh? You know, I always used to say this to people. People who had any self-worth would tolerate that kind of life for about an hour. You know, like that geezer in the motor, the other fella, Chris. He put up with it for an hour and just thought, nah, fuck this ain't worth it. But junkies, decades, day after day after day after day. Some very nice reports in the chat. I didn't really know how that was going to go down. I've never told that story. I've never told that one because it hasn't got any sort of kickers or anything. You know, it's just quite unpleasant. But that's very kind. Oh, that's lovely of you. That's very kind of you. There's some donations come through that I'm going to deal with quickly. That's really very kind of you all. I do sometimes wonder how they're going to go down. Yeah. Well, how's that in the morning when I just, hello, Mum. Sorry about that thing, but just, do you need anything done? Do you need me to go anywhere shopping? Thank you. Yeah, yes, Hal Victory. That's a great comment. That's all very kind of you. Let's deal with some donations if I can. I'm not sure if it's possible to do it like this live. Let's see. Oh yeah, this saves a bit of trouble, doesn't it? So we saw Graham Sensum Communum says, put this towards an Henry. Only joking. A bottle of that monkey sweat thing you drink. Nice one, Sensum Communum. Kajetil Olstad, hello brother. He drops a tenner. This is the quality content I signed up for. You are a talented storyteller. Thanks for the laughs. A pleasure, man. You're relatively new around here, but you've stamped your mark on the House of Scrubs. Tony Sanchez drops a cockle, says, brilliant storytelling, Chris. We done Lil Bullets. We done Missing It. We done Lil Bullets. We done Chris's. We didn't do Deadbeat Chess's Fiver for Virgin Entropy. Love to you all. Well, there you go. Sunday Story. I thought you'd like that one. What a turnout. Makes all the difference, that did. Hello, Mr. Camley. Great story. Saw some of this with my bro. Yeah, it can be quite weird when I tell those stories because I know that there's people in the chat who've got family members who are still using. And I'm talking like half a dozen people. And I will laugh at it as well, but I try and, I'm trying to give you the truth rather than, there's nothing glamorous. But if you saw some of it with your brother, you know what I'm talking about. It's endless, isn't it? It's just endless. And you just never, when people have often said to me, no one wants to become an heroin addict. I sort of did. I really did. I sort of wanted to. I like the idea of it. It's something about it appealed to me. But when I say that, what I have to also mention is I didn't know what it involved. In my head, I just thought it was a bit edgy, a little bit. People look down on it. And it was, for me, it was just like, fuck you to everyone. I didn't actually know what it involved. And after about 2 weeks, I'd had enough. It took another 20 years for me to get there. Let's find Jamie. I'll tell you what. I'd have to I'd have to exercise some acceptance if I did see him, because there would be all sorts of trouble. Alan Thyler, it's okay, Chris. We've all been there, my brother. Some of us have. I don't think half the chat would appreciate you dragging them all into it, but I know you have some. Nice one, Alan. Moslab. It's vile, isn't it? And it's a sound I've heard before, and it's a sound I've done. You know, I know where it comes from. It's what you do when your body wants to vomit, but you ain't eaten in a week. There you go. You got 3 variations. Nice one, Moslab. I think here we go. Let me just do that little slider again. This seems to work, although I don't know if you can read them. Frank Frankenstein drops a 10 and he went minimum wage, lol. Kieran Laverty drops 20 euros. Add me cackling, Chris. Nice one, Kieran. Nice one, Frank. I thought you said add you rattling when I first saw it. Well, there you go. I was quite Romit. Is that what it's called? Romit, because it's a wretch without vomit. Romit. Misses me in it. Thank you, love. I have to deal with my past every day, but have learnt from it. Out of bad comes good. It's how you deal with it. Yeah, you know, I realised at some point, and this is why I talk about acceptance, I realised at some point, and it took a while, that I can punish myself, you know, I can whip myself over the back for the rest of my life for the things I've done, mainly to my mother. That's where most of my sort of guilt and shame reside. But then I thought the better thing I can do is make something of my life, you know, actually do something and be there for her. And I kind of do that. You know, I ring my mum so many times that she gets bored. that's how bad it is. I'll ring my mum 4 times a week and she gets bored now. And I like it like that. I'd rather it be too much than too little. Because in those days, I didn't give a shit. Nice one, Mrs. Me in it. Do you know if Jamie... You know what? He probably kept up the barefoot look. I don't reckon he's with us anymore. I did hear a rumour, but because he weren't from my area, he was from up there. He was from that Denmark Hill, Lewisham area. I never saw him again. I literally never saw him again after he ran off with my, well, I say my 40 quid. In fairness, it was his nan's. So what a bastard, though. Imagine knowing how bad someone feels. Imagine, I would never have done that to him. I wouldn't. If I was going to rob him, which I might have done, I'd have made sure he got out of trouble. I'd at least made sure he got out of trouble. Do you know what I mean? I'd have got that geezer to give me the gear and I'd have thrown one out the window and then say drive. But I wouldn't have left him in that state. No. That is, nah. Nice one, Mouse Cat. Well, get in there. Amazing to have 300 people in on the old Sunday afternoon. Very good story. I have to copy it. I can see you in a boozer in New York with a couple of lovely ladies and you going, and then and them leaving and you going, hang on a minute, I saw this go down quite well on the internet. Biden, don't sniff me. Hello, mate. Relatively new around here, unless you've been lurking, said this. My friend's brothers are both smackheads from 15 years old to the present day. I have seen how it destroys lives. And it's mad, isn't it? You'd never imagine what it actually does to people. It's very hard to actually get your head around how it works on such a destructive level. It's a peculiar affair. Little Bullet says a lot of parents have got that fun to come. Well, you know, most, if not all of the junkies I know came from fatherless homes. Most, if not all of the junkies I know was sexually abused. So there are some kind of basic things we could do about this. But as we've talked about on this channel before, addiction is a massive problem that's been imposed upon our people. People don't waste their lives doing things like that if they've got families, if they've got communities, because it gets in the way of those things. Family and community actually nurtures you, actually improves your life, and you want to be part of it. And you're not going to indulge in things that take you away from that because they're just too good. It's just too beneficial. And it's only when those things are either taken away physically or taken away emotionally. You know, you can have a family, but they can be emotionally unavailable to you. And then you can have problems there as well. But, you know, I think this stuff needs to, we really need to look at this stuff. And I also certainly think that as a movement, we need to be really a little bit kinder to people who've got drug problems. I know everyone here is, and obviously I have been very vocally because of what I've been through. But anyone who comes here and tells me they've got a drug problem, I just want us as a community to do what we can to help them. You know, you don't abandon them. And I know people who would. I know people who think, nah, fuck them. This isn't a place for all that. Well done. You'll end up in a room with 5 of you going, yeah, we showed them. Deadbeat Chess got ripped off in a similar style by 2. Yeah, me too. 2 more. See you later, Jess. Take care, love. All right, people, look, it's 12:30 in the morning here. Lovely, absolutely lovely to see that there's still 300 people here, because a bit of me thinks that I know a lot of that stuff really rubs people up the wrong way. When I used to tell stories like this, that's a perfect comment to end with. When I used to do these kinds of stories, when I told stand-up, and I've talked about this before, but the first thing you've got to do as a stand-up comedian or a storyteller is make people like you. You've got to be likable. And if they like you, after that, you can talk about anything because they like you and they trust you. But when I done the odd gig where I didn't do that, my stagecraft wasn't working, or I was too tired, or I was too drunk, or whatever, and I didn't have the ability to be likable. Then when they hear stories like that, they just think of their friend who got robbed, their mate who got AIDS. You know, they think of domestic burglaries, AIDS, and death. And then it's like, why would I want to hear this on a Sunday night? So I do have a slight issue, but it would seem that the majority of you, 300 of you stayed. So that's good because, you know, I also do have an agenda in telling those stories and just give you a little bit of insight into a world perhaps you don't know. And I've never defended drug use. Never. I don't think that story glamorized it. Anyone want to go? People, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll see you at 8:00 tomorrow morning UK time. And if you can't catch me then, catch me tomorrow in the afternoon. Special thanks to Mosaic Labrador, who moderated this stream, and to my man Rags, who moderated Twitch. Special thank you to everyone who joined in the chat and those who donated. I'll see you at the crack of dawn. Not that dawn. Come on. Ta-da!
All the world loves a lover. All the girls in every land are meant to know the joy of loving is to live in the world of man love. There's someone who's waiting for you. Soon the world will be yours for a toy. Music starts to play, night will turn to day. Darkness disappears when the one you love is near. You're in man love. All the world loves the lover. All the girls in every land are meant to know. Joy of loving is to live in the world of mankind. There's a place that is waiting for you, a world where the best in life is free, where time is always spring, happiness is king. The dreams you dream come true when the one you love loves you. You're in man.
KFC hats on the runway. Listen, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I know we've got work and stuff tomorrow, but it's still Sunday. It's still lounging around with people who care about you. And please be grateful for what you've got and the lives you have, because they're far from bad on the whole. Take care, people.
All the world loves a lover. All the girls in every land are meant to know. Joy of loving is to live in the world of mankind.
Go on, go and play down your own end, Jamie. Ta-da.